as always, this podcast is brought to you by Red Cap Plumbing and Air. These guys have always treated me like family before I even had a podcast, and they will treat you like a family. And they're Tampa-based, homegrown. These guys are awesome. They literally define hashtag Tampa Proud. Give them a call for any of your plumbing and AC needs. Today's episode is super special. I'm super excited. We have Momma Arians joining us, if we can call her that, of course. And she's going to talk to us.
Coach.
Mrs. Coach.
No, I think we already established we're all calling you Mom.
Okay.
Mom.
Okay, I'll take that.
It'll be weird when you hand me, the mashed potatoes over Thanksgiving dinner and I call you thank you. I can't say thank you, Mrs. Coach. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't apply. Mom. It doesn't work. Anyway, let's get into this. Okay. Momma Arians. You do some amazing work. When Jake was on the show here with us, he told us what you guys do at the Arians Family Foundation. And we're all fathers on this show. And we have a soft spot. As cool and as mean as we look, we have some soft spots when it comes to kids. And what you guys do there is freaking amazing. I wanted you to come on the show and kind of share what you guys do, what you guys are about, and just help people know more and how they can be part of what you guys do. And I know you have some cool ongoing voting and contest stuff going on too that we definitely have to get into. So the floor is yours. The floor is yours to tell us what you guys do with the Arians Family Foundation. Start off.
Okay, so I volunteered as a court-appointed special advocate for about 15 years before we landed in Arizona. And that husband of mine, he dreams big, And he said to me, now that we have a voice and a face, I think we should form a foundation. Oh, honey, go do all the work and make this foundation happen.
That's how it works.
So I did. And we found a wonderful company, CMPR, a PR firm out of LA that basically puts on our events and does the staging and everything. And they are fabulous. I don't know where we would be without them. And if you know any of us well enough, you know that we pretty much adopted them as family at this point. So it's a really big team effort. And so what we do with the foundation is it's two goals. One's to raise money because, you can't do anything without money. Mm-hmm. You can't run a foundation without money. And two is to get as much publicity for the support programs that we support as possible. So different states run it different ways. If you want to talk about Florida, I'll talk about Florida. Florida has a state GAL program. GAL stands for Guardian Ad Litem. And the traditional Guardian Ad Litem program are lawyers that represent the best interests of children in court. Not necessarily what the kids want, but their best interests. And you guys being fathers, I think you realize that what the kids want and their best interests are often different.
Yes.
So that's why that's the legal standard. And, but the traditional GALs had to be lawyers. So hence the CASA programs, like we need somebody that has the time and the energy to form a relationship with the child and to do investigations, to really research what's going on in this kid's life. Most of them, especially in the beginning, won't tell you what's going on. You need to you need to talk to the neighbors and the teachers and the therapists and the doctors and all the people in that child's life, including whoever's their guardian or parent at the time. But then you need to be able to report to the court what's in that child's best interests. So in Florida, we have a statewide GAL program. Each circuit court, for example, Hillsborough has its own, and then Pinal County has its own. It's like two different circuits. They have a GAL program. Well, those are the lawyers, and they use volunteers to do that research, child advocates they're called, to do the research, to figure out what's going on, to form that relationship with the child, to write reports and be available to testify in court. And then each GAL program has a support foundation. So Voices for Children here in Hillsborough, and GAL Foundation of Tampa over Clearwater, St. Pete. So those programs do what they can to support that child and the family, whoever that child is placed with, their needs. So, for example, the aunt that takes custody may have lost her job in COVID. So she's really struggling to make ends meet. So, the GAL, or I'm sorry, the child advocate, may well ask the foundation, for money to go grocery shopping, or to buy clothes for the kids, one time in Arizona, we did a shoe drive. They were overwhelmed with kids that had gone into the system because of the heroin epidemic. And these kids were put in like for-profit group homes. I'm sorry, but there shouldn't be such a thing. It's like a conflict of interest, in my opinion. Oh, gee, I can write myself a check, or I can buy a kid a pair of shoes, So we did, so many of the kids were wearing worn out, too small shoes. I know you guys probably know this. I remember one summer, one of my kids went through 3 sizes of shoes in one summer,
Yeah.
You can't buy a kid a pair of shoes once a year. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, that's what these foundations do. And what Arians Family Foundation does is we support these support programs financially and with as much publicity as we can come up with. Thank you, guys. And we do that with the programs we know the best. So we still support the program Kids Voice in Indianapolis, where I actually started doing this. I was practicing law at the time, waiting to get admitted to the bar exam, to the bar in Indiana. And it's like a 6-month process. And while I'm waiting, I read this article about this Kids Voice program, with these child advocates. And I thought, oh, I got to find out about this, because I was primarily a family law attorney. And, you put a divorce through and you just see how dysfunctional that family is. And you think, oh, these poor kids, right? So here's a program I can help the poor kids. So anyway, we support 6 programs across the country that I worked with personally, know the people that run the programs personally, know they're doing a good job, know what they're going to do with our money. And since COVID started, my first thought was, when they closed the schools, oh my God, there are so many kids reliant on the school day to get out of a dysfunctional home, first of all, to get fed at school, at least 2 meals a day. And teachers are often the reporters to the system as to the kids who are being neglected or abused. So when you don't have the main reporters, that kids aren't going to be getting the help that they need as soon as they would otherwise. So I was rather disheartened. And then our fundraiser had to be canceled. And it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Well, guess what? My husband is a head coach in the NFL. We can afford to write a check each month to each of these programs. So that's what we do. We write a personal check to each of the 6 programs. And I told them, as long as he works, those checks will continue coming. Well, retirement's a whole different question. Just because their work is so vital. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I do have a question for you. So who traditionally, where does the money traditionally come from to help support these organizations that you supplement? Is it tax dollars? That's it?
No, it's actually not tax dollars.
Okay.
They're almost always, I shouldn't say never. Our forever home is on Lake Oconee in Georgia, and the CASA program there is actually 8 lake counties, very rural counties. So they don't actually have that many cases, but they're spread out all over the place, and there's not a lot of money in a rural county either. So they actually, like, they get their offices for free. They get it because one of the schools had some empty office space. I do think maybe they get some money through the court system, but primarily they raise it, Voices for Children here had a fundraiser all ready to go in the stadium. We were helping them with it. Bruce was going to be the key speaker. This was going to happen in May. And, well, guess what? Everything was shut down. They couldn't do it. We couldn't help them with it. We would have had a golf tournament, concert, blowout weekend as a fundraiser, and it was canceled as well. So in the meantime, we're exploring virtual ways of raising money, and just contributing our own dollars, So it allows these programs to go ahead and help the kids and whoever their guardians are to keep going, and to keep, hopefully thrive or heal,
Mm-hmm.
Man, is this for all age groups, or, from essentially, until the kids are 18, or does it extend beyond their?
They age out at 18, or at least most states allow them to age out at 18. A lot of states now have support programs available, like between 18 and 21, because it's really tough if you've been raised in a home that's totally dysfunctional. You've never learned to have a bank account, much less write a check or balance a checkbook, which I know are old-fashioned concepts, but you still have to know how much money you have available, right? And you still have to know how to pay bills and manage all of that. And they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to get an apartment. Matter of fact, how do you get an apartment at 18? You can't sign a lease at 18.
No.
Most states don't allow leases to be signed by 18-year-olds.
No, you're right. Yeah, and if they don't have a support guardian to help them do it, then they're stuck.
So you know what happens to an awful lot of them? They end up homeless. They end up trafficked. They end up further abused and neglected. And this time it's by all of us,
It's hard to respond to that. I was going to say, during the whole COVID scenario and situation, have you guys found it extremely difficult in terms of being able to raise that money? Has it dipped, or have the online routes worked?
Yeah. I mean, we're all looking for other ways of raising money. So we write a check, for example, to Voices for CASA Children in Arizona every month, and they have leveraged the money that we've donated as like a matching program, and they advertise it on all their social media and send out, texts and newsletters and all that kind of stuff. That's something pretty recent, and I'm not real sure how well it's working. The problem is so many people are out of jobs, or they're underemployed at this point, and it's hard for people to come up with money. So yeah, it's hard. We're working on a couple things. I hope they come to fruition, in which case I'll be contacting you guys to help me publicize it.
Absolutely. Anyway, again, like I said, we're all fathers, and I mean, I think I could speak for the three of us when I say we have soft spots for kids. Absolutely. Like, that's the thing. If we can help in any way, you just let us know. I know you've been retweeting and sharing things on your social media outlets for a current competition or contest that's going on between a bunch of organizations in an attempt to win a $25,000 grant. I was going to let you talk about that and help people get out there and vote and let people know how they can help.
Yeah, State Farm's charity arm, which is called State Farm Neighborhood Assist, will give 40 $25,000 grants across the country to deserving organizations. charitable organizations. The problem is it's all dependent on a vote. And, you know, that means we need to get a lot of people voting, and we need to get those people voting every day. You can put 10 votes in a day. It's real easy to do it. Once you set it up, it's like literally one click. So let me see if I can figure out what this site actually is. It's called neighborhoodassist.com. And you want to look for Voices for Children, Children's Needs Fund.
We'll get that link also and tweet it out ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Put in the link in the description for this video as well.
Yeah, it'll be in the video. It'll be when we tweet out this episode. I've been sharing your stuff and retweeting it and helping push some of that.
Voting.
I voted multiple times.
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been hovering above the 40 number, but
we can do a lot better than that for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, so we just need to get all the Bucs fans out there voting, because this benefits the kids right here in Tampa.
Christina, on a personal level, I mean, where did this passion for helping kids come from with you and
well,
Bruce?
I mean, you know, I became a mother, you know, took parenting really seriously. Quite honestly, parenting was the toughest thing I've ever done. Football coaches, especially when they're trying to work their way up the ladder, don't get a lot of home time. Well, it depends who the head coach is too, because some of them made the guys work ridiculous hours. Some of them still do, actually. Not my husband, though.
No.
They don't work any more than they need to work.
He'll fire you.
What did he say?
You miss a game, or you miss a play, or you miss anything that has to do with kids, he'll fire you. He made that very clear.
Yeah, he did say that early on.
Don't miss anything.
He used to have to lie to a head coach that I won't name in order to go to some of our sons' baseball games. You know, it's like, wait a minute, this is the off season. You should be able to leave work for a couple hours, go to a kid's baseball game, and come back and finish your work if there's actually work to be done. You know, it was ridiculous. But anyway, you know, I raised the kids, and you guys know our son, Jake. He was not an easy child to raise.
No way. Are you serious?
I'm serious. But I told him, by the time he was 30, I thought, you know what? He's a really good man. And I told him that. I said, you were worth every moment of frustration, of which there was frustration every day. But yeah, so I took parenting seriously. I was practicing law. I was seeing the ways in which parents' own issues affect their children, because I was practicing family law. And the thought would go through my head all the time, oh my God, it's these poor kids that need a lawyer. It's the kids that need a voice. And that's what child advocacy is all about, is giving kids a voice. So, you know, as soon as I read this article we had moved to Indiana from Mississippi, and, you know, Mississippi's, I don't want to call it backward, but I didn't know anything about a CASA program there. There may have been some somewhere in the state, but I wasn't aware of it. In Indiana, it was organized, well-run, like full-blown, wonderful. And I signed up for the class. I took the class. Oh, and I was an empty nester for the first time. You know, so it was like, oh, okay, I may not have kids running in and out of my home anymore, but I can still see kids and work with kids and help kids. That's what kept me going. It's a hard job to be a child advocate. It really is. It's emotionally hard.
Sure.
But what kept me going was I felt every day like I helped somebody. I can't fix everybody's problems. I can't even fix all of one person's problems, but I can help, you know? So that's what kept me going. It's like Bruce would move me again, and I'd sign up for the new program, take their training, you know, take my first case, and just keep on going. And I will tell you, the people that are involved in this are wonderful people, invariably wonderful, kind hearts.
Yeah, I mean, you find that anybody involved in a charitable organization, they're just naturally giving people. I think it's amazing that you and Bruce and Jake, because I know Jake and his wife are also, involved in the foundation, make it a priority to help the communities that you inevitably become a part of, because you're forced to move around the country. It's a weird life you live in regards to not being able to really stay in one place for very long. I get it. You're close. You're nearing, or you're closing on a retirement. I know it was hard for you to picture starting over again in a new city, but I know I personally can say I'm glad to have you and Bruce and your entire family in this area. We've had other coaching staffs here. Some have made an impact on the community. Tony Dungy, I think everybody knows that. Others really haven't made their mark. That one of the first things I heard about when you and Bruce came to this organization was your foundation. You guys made it a point to talk about it a lot, and I think that's amazing.
He actually said it in his introductory press conference. Mm-hmm. He mentioned it. I also think it's pretty amazing as well, because you mentioned Tony Dungy, that, like you mentioned, you guys support across 6 different states. I don't know all coaches, but sometimes it feels, or it seems like, again, that life, you're moving around a lot. Like when you move to a different place, you forget about where you were. I think it's awesome. You guys are still supporting Indianapolis, Arizona.
Yep.
You didn't forget about the places that you were.
We still have friends in all those places. I worked with the people running these organizations in all those places and still see them at least once a year, well, usually a couple times, because we would have events and they would all come, and we do have a forever home, I'll tell you that. So about 15 years ago, we bought on Lake Oconee in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel as rootless as I used to, but mm-hmm. I'll also tell you, we both love Tampa. It's like this chill vibe kind of place.
Sure
there's just something about the vibe that I really, really like. Yeah.
It's got a mix of everything.
You might switch it forever.
Yep, it does.
Tampa, people come here and they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
If Bruce gets us 2 rings, this will definitely be his forever.
Yeah, we're not going to let you leave anyways.
And by the way, mom, like Sank said there a second ago, I want to thank you personally, because I know Bruce had to get the green light from you. Thank you for letting Bruce come out of retirement. Thank you.
He did, because I told him when we left Arizona, I said, well, babe, I'm retiring with or without you. Like, you want to see me? You can come to Georgia and see me. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't think I have the right to do that, but I'm not doing it with you anymore. The year when he wasn't coaching, what I realized was, oh my God, the man is a coach. I mean,
was he running you through drills? I mean, was he going over playbooks every morning after breakfast? After breakfast, we're gonna break down the option read here. I just finished up the OJ and the bacon, and then we're gonna get the whiteboard out.
She's like, we got to get him out of the house like now.
She's like, okay, someone has to hire this man right now. I'm gonna pull my hair out.
Our club in Georgia has 6 golf courses. He could play a golf course 6 days a week and rest on the 7th day, right? Isn't that kind of biblical? But, eventually that becomes not enough. And, the thing about it was the bucs. So it's drivable from the lake in Georgia. Mm-hmm. It's on the eastern side of the country where everybody in my family other than Jake lives. Bruce and I are each one of 5 kids. So we got these big families, and they're all, up and down the East Coast, but not out west. So it was like, okay, if he'd have said Minnesota Vikings, I probably would have said, I'm not going to tell you what to do, babe, but I ain't coming with you.
See you in Georgia.
Cool. Yeah.
So it really was the perfect situation. And I know it sounds corny, but I also knew so many of his coaches happened to be available. Mm-hmm. Jason Light, I mean, he was really the clincher because we know him so well and trust him so well. So when he says the Glazers are wonderful people, we believed him. And he was right, by the way. The Glazers are wonderful people.
Yeah.
Truly, there aren't a lot of owners like them in the NFL. At least not the ones I've experienced.
They also have a foundation that helps children.
They do, and they do amazing work in this community. Amazing.
I was going to ask how much in the off season, obviously, how much does Bruce actually participate and partake in the foundation with the families outside of the events themselves? Does he kind of just let you run the show and stay out of it?
Yeah. So traditionally, a normal non-COVID year, we would have a backpack giveaway during camp. He loves to see the kids, so he'd be there giving out the backpacks to each of them and talking to them and playing with them and like whatever. That would be, he would really, really enjoy that. Camp's not like during the season though. Last year here, we did have a dinner at Ocean Prime, which was very successful. And that was during the season. So I can't remember if it was the open weekend maybe or something. I mean, he tries to work things in, but he's not going to not go to work in order to fit it in.
Yeah. I figured in the off season or on a bye week. I think last year you guys did that event on the bye week.
It was on the bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were going to have a golf tournament in April, just when, things started getting crazy. And it's funny how the universe works. It's like, it just wasn't working out. We wanted to coordinate, the hotel with the golf course, with the band, with, and Bruce's schedule. And it's just like, it just wasn't working out. And then all of a sudden I actually literally told Steve Webster at CMPR, I said, I think the universe is telling us just to forget it for the spring and we'll figure out where to go from here. And then right after that, everything shut down. So if we'd have made all these plans, they'd have come to nothing anyway.
That worked out nicely.
So, but Bruce, he loves the golf tournaments. He loves schmoozing, hitting golf balls, telling stories, having a few drinks maybe.
Hey, Christina, I come from a coaching background as well. I love the kids. I know that, being a head coach, his wife and Bruce himself getting to know all these kids over the years through college and then through all the pro teams. I mean, you kind of have an extended family of kids that you help mold and shape, on the coaching side. Do you get involved with the teams at all and in the players and the players' families and things like that? Are you ever involved in bringing them into the organization?
Yeah, in the pros, not so much. Like we'll get involved in players' own foundations and often meet their families through that and that kind of stuff. But it's a little dicey. I mean, you got to think about it. My husband can cut your husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
And BA, he's so honest and doesn't watch his words carefully. So, my husband can insult your husband. You know what I'm saying? It's like
best to stay out.
A little distance is probably the best way of doing it.
Yeah. When this COVID stuff all goes away and you guys are able to do events and drives and anything you guys do that helps raise money, you've got 3 volunteers ready, and if you need more, we can help. I'm totally volunteering you guys. Sorry, but we're here.
I already donated to Arians Family Foundation when Jake was on, and I'll continue to do whatever I can to help support it because I love kids, and I'll do anything to help advocate and fight for those kids in need. So you've already got 3, like he said, 3 people who are willing to get involved.
I own some barbershops. Christina.
It's Mom.
And we've done several events. We've done events for the Children's Cancer Center. We did one last year for the local school's band to raise money for the band program. So I have on standby 68 barbers. So if you want to put something together when those is over, maybe some free haircuts for underprivileged kids.
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding me?
That's so good.
Oh my gosh, yes. Are the barbershops open these days?
Yeah, we got to open back up in May.
A
little bit dicey. Everybody's got to wear a mask, appointment only, but we're doing good.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I still get my hair cut and I wear a mask the whole time, and so does she. But no, I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, I can either buy my kid a Happy Meal or get him a haircut. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the food always has to come first. So the kids, it's so sad to have to say this, but you can almost tell a foster kid by looking at them. You know, we have events. We haven't done one here, but we've had like Top Golf events, putt events, you know, events that the kids come to, and they get paired up with a player. And the putt event, the players actually brought their own kids. So there were foster kids and other kids there. Well, you could just take one look at the foster kids were afraid to look at you. You know, they were afraid to run around and make noise. Now, by the end of the day, they had relaxed. God bless them. But you could just tell by their demeanor. And a lot of that, you know, it's a self-esteem thing. They don't have the clothes to look like the other kids. They don't have the grooming to look like the other kids. It's, oh dear, you made an offer. I suspect we'll be taking you up on it.
Yeah, well, we don't get to choose our parents' kids. You know, they find themselves in these positions at no fault of their own, whether it be domestic issues or just being born into a bad luck situation. It's never their fault, and a lot of times there's no support system around them. You know, no family around them. Nobody cares for them. That's why I think sports is so great, because I think a lot of these kids do find role models and parents, you know, or parent type models in sports, which is why I'm a huge advocate for putting, you know, your children, boy or girl, you know, into sports, because I think it gives them that environment, no matter what.
It's
so on every level, I think you guys, you know, obviously help the community.
It's super cool it's super cool that you mentioned that those players would also bring their kids out there, because, you know, I could speak for myself, Christian and Stank, that we didn't grow up privileged by any means, right? So, but our kids, I consider my kids extremely spoiled. Like they don't know it though. You know what I mean? Just everyday stuff, like always having a dope haircut, always got, you know, new shoes when you go to school, all that stuff that we take for granted. They take for granted. I mean, I personally don't. They do, right? And having them, you know, interact with other kids that don't have that, it gives them a perspective. It gives them a little something that they can understand, but it also bridges that gap of, you know, my dad gets me everything I want. This kid, obviously his dad doesn't, but you know what? We're the same. We're not different. And that goes back, and that also ties into sports too. There's no, you know, there's no money, there's no creed, there's no race, none of that. Once you're on that football field, it's just those guys on the football field, and that's
it is
huge.
And this is one of the things the foundation did last year. Well, there's no fans in the stand this year, so we're not doing it this year, but the bucs were so wonderful to cooperate with us. Like we got this block of tickets in the end zone, but you know, the kids got coupons for drinks and food. We let them choose what player's jersey they wanted and paid for the jersey. And they got to go with their child advocate to the game, cheer, yell, carry on, you know, admire their hero close up and personal, you know, in a way that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So, you know, the more ways we can bring the kids in, the better. And I hate this whole COVID thing, because it's just sort of, it's made everything so difficult.
Yeah. And think about, you know, bring a guy like Tom Brady to Tampa. You know, he's, you know, it's like bringing Michael Jordan to your town. It's you're bringing a guy who's larger than life. The amount of kids who are missing out on the opportunity to be around him, and hopefully that won't be for very long. And you know, things seem to be progressing in a good direction. Hopefully they continue to do that. And you know, I'm sure that Tom wants to get out there and as now the face of this team. Because I thought Jameis was amazing in the community. You know, he was he loved kids. I mean, you see that, and I think Tom is the same way. He's got young kids too. So I think we're lucky in having that. So I think those kids who are going to get the opportunity eventually to be around the team because of your organization and the Glazers organization, all the other charity organizations, Boys and Girls Club, everybody who gets involved. And you can see all those different organizations around the stadium, like you said, some are in the end zone, but you'll see all the players' foundations. That's awesome. Really, like the best seats in the house go to these kids a lot of times, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's definitely true. Well, I know we have a lot of people that watch this show, and they tune in for football stuff, right? Well, I've never really asked you guys to do much, but if you guys are ever going to listen to us at all, it's this. It's going to the link that's going to be in the description, voting, like registering, voting as many times as you possibly can, because those votes are not, they're free. And if you can't help monetarily, it's fine. But you can put votes in that will help Tampa Bay, the kids of Tampa Bay. So that, you know, I love what you do over there, Mom. I love all the stuff that involves anything that helps kids. And like I said, if you ever need us in any way to promote, to help, to lift boxes, I don't really care. We're there. We're help out. You know, you just let us know. You know how to contact us. I'm super, super, super excited that you came on and talked with us. And it was fun. It was informative. I hope a lot of people kind of gain a little bit more perspective if they didn't already. And
you know what? This contest only lasts till October 2nd, but we need to keep this child advocacy thing in front of everybody's mind, because we need volunteers. And right now the volunteers are primarily distancing, but you know that it's still important. However you do it, you have to be in contact with those kids, and you need to know what's going on around those kids. I mean, luckily everybody's got cell phones and stuff these days, so it makes it possible, but we need the volunteers too.
All right. Well, you heard her. I don't think you guys want to make Mama Arians mad, because then Bruce gets mad, and
no.
And Jake's already been picking on.
Jake's
Stan.
already mad at me.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
We don't need more Arians mad at us. At least I don't. They all personally love me, but whatever.
It's always got to be.
No, all seriousness, thank you again, and we will get the word out. I love what you guys do. I know you said parenting is really hard. I personally will say that even though it is hard, it's definitely the most rewarding and the most fun thing that I do every day. I absolutely love being a dad. Absolutely. Yes. So anytime we can help kids,
God bless
I'm
you.
down. I'm down with that. So
Mom, am I bringing 2 fried turkeys to Thanksgiving? Or
yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I'll let you know. Depends how many people we're going to have all together.
Don't forget, I got my $100 mac and cheese. I'm bringing it. Because I already know Jake can't cook.
Yeah, no, Jake can't.
I already know Jake doesn't cook.
I make a really, really awesome stovetop out of a box.
Stovetop out of the box.
Stovetop.
Bring that to the Arians house. Are you crazy?
Top stuffing.
Boom. See? I know my family, y'all.
Maybe that says something about my cooking.